Hey guys, so I've been asked a few times how I do my makeup, how I do my highlight and contour, so I thought I would do a really quick video to show you how to do it. And this is for anyone who just got their makeup into and you're kind of wondering what to do, where to put your different shades that you got. I'm going to show you how to do your makeup, okay? So I'm going to start with a little bit of color correction and concealing, and for that I'm going to take one of our contour colors. It's called Aspen. It's just light enough where you're not going to feel like it's too dark, but it's just dark enough where it's going to match the depth of any like discoloration and redness, and it's going to blend that out really well. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit of Aspen. So with this, I am going to use my finger because I find it works the best. I just like how the warmth of your skin will heat up because it's cream makeup, right? And cream likes warmth, right? Cream doesn't work well if it's quite cool. It won't blend very well. So I'm just blending out the shade Aspen kind of all over where I've got some redness, and that's just gonna blend out any imperfections on my skin before I do my main highlight and contour. So if you have a shade that's meant for color correction, so you'd either have Aspen or you'd have something like June for redness, this is what you're going to be using it for. So you're just going to go in and just really lightly cover up any redness with that color correction shade, and then a little goes a long way for this, so you don't want to go too heavy. Also with creams, you don't want to go heavy because you're going to see a lot of texture if you go too heavy with cream. So less is more, and you can always build up your coverage, and it's easier to add product than take away product, especially with cream. So just be careful. That's the number one thing that people struggle with when they first get their makeup and they first make the switch from liquid to cream foundation is applying much less than they feel like they need. Okay, so now that I've got my color correction shade done, I'm going to go in with this is called the Detail HAC brush. This one's really good for doing your contour because it's got such like a, flat, precise line there where you get a really good definition for your contour. So first I'm going to do my contour, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So people ask me, that's all great, well and fine that you guys have a highlight and contour kit, but what do you use for your foundation? What do you use, as your base? And my answer to that is this is your foundation. The combination of your main highlight shade and your contour shade create your foundation. You don't need to have that base first. So I'm going to go in with my Detail HAC brush and just stipple that in there, and you want to go a little bit heavy-handed with your contour color because when you blend it in, you still want to be able to see that definition there. So you don't want that to blend out so much that it doesn't look like anything, because you're just going to end up with like a really muddy look. So you want to go a little bit heavy-handed on your cheek contour because you want that definition.
See the light, quick.
See the light?
Yeah, just look, quick.
What? Yeah, it's there. That's, you know what? That's from Mummy's mirror. My general rule of thumb for where to place your contour is I start right at the top of my ear, and then I bring it down, and then you stop right around where your cheek gets like squishy. So you're just going along that cheekbone. And then I always bring my contour, this is going to be different for everybody based on the shape of your face. If you have a very narrow temple area, then I would suggest not putting your contour up your temples. I find that my forehead / temple area is, a bit wider than most, so I do place my contour in those areas. So I'm going to put my contour at the top of my forehead. And then I always like to drag it just down the front of my ear slightly. And then with a much lighter hand, I just go along my jawline slightly. It's just gonna narrow out your face a little bit without giving you like the mask look, because you're gonna be blending out your contour along your jawline much more than you blend out your contour along your cheekbone. Okay, so then you're gonna take that flat end of your detail brush and you're just gonna squeeze it. I like to squeeze it a bit so I've got more of like a thin line there, and then I'm just gonna go and run it along the side of my nose on both sides and not on the top to get a good nose contour going on. There we go. And then I'm gonna bring that into almost like a V shape along the tip of my nose there. And then I'm also going to bring my contour along just the bottom of my lip there. There we go. And you can use the other end of your detail hack brush for that as well. So another trick I'm going to show you, actually, now that I have my contour and my detail hack brush out, I'm going to take that small end of my detail hack brush, go back in with my contour shade, and I'm going to use this actually along my eyes to deepen up that crease, deepen up your eyes a little bit. So I do use my contour. All these products, they're cream, they're very versatile. You can use them for so many different things. Like I said, I used a contour as a color correction. I used contour for my actual contour, and I used a contour as a crease shade along my eyes. So everything is very versatile. So just blend that out a little bit. So now that you have your contour done, you're gonna go in with your main highlight shade. So for those who have just had their makeup come in the mail, you probably have multiple highlight shades. You might have had one for color correction, which we already did. And then you have your main highlight color. So this is what you're going to do with your main highlight color. For a lot of other people too, we also have a brightening highlight, and I will show you where to place that afterwards as well. So with your main highlight color, you're just going to dab. So you're going to see that I'm not brushing it all over my face. I'm not trying to give myself full coverage at this point yet. I'm just using, this is my Buffy brush, and the Buffy brush is really, really great for cream foundations because it's so short and dense and soft that it just deposits the right amount of product onto your face without overloading your face, which is perfect. So I'm going to take that main highlight color and I'm going to go along the bottom of my highlight or my contour there. I'm going to give it a little bit more definition, and then along my jawline, chin, and then same thing on this side. I'm just going to clean up that contour a bit, give myself a bit more definition, and then I'm going to go just along the top of my nose, and then cheek area, just above that contour. So now you have your contour done and you have your main highlight done, and this is what's going to create that foundation, right? So now I'm going to go back in with, I'm going to use this brush here. This is our blush and bronzer brush. I can never say that. Blush and bronzer brush, and it's got two fluffy ends. This one is really great for powders when you want to put like a bronzer over top or a setting powder. This one's really great for that. Opposite end, this one's a little bit more dense. This one's really great for blending in cream foundations because of how dense it is, and it allows you to, you know, keep some of that coverage by not moving, displacing your product around your face. So I'm just gonna go in with that dense side, and I'm going to just, in order to blend this in, I'm just going to stipple it. So I'm just pressing it into the skin. I'm not, you know, swiping it back and forth all over my skin. I wanna keep my product where I put it while blending it out. So these brushes are really great for blending also because of their shape. Because of their shape, they actually kind of blend themselves. So even just when you stipple, it'll blend that product out just because of the shape of the brush. That's why I always recommend when you're first starting out with cream makeup, grab a brush, because it's going to make a huge difference on the way that your makeup looks once it's done. So I'm just going to stipple that. And where I want the product blended out a little bit more, I'm going to use like circles, and I'm going to blend it down. So where we put that contour underneath the jawline, I'm going to blend that out a little bit more with a heavy hand because I don't want that definition there. I just want a shadow there. You're just giving yourself the illusion of, a thinner face there. So you want just the shadow effect and not the definition. And you want to make sure you're blending down your neck. You want everything to blend into your neck really well. So while I'm blending, I always blend out my main highlight where that is first, and then I will blend into my contour shade. And the reason I do that is because I don't want the contour shade, that darkness, to kind of muddy up the brightness of my main highlight shade. So I'm always gonna go in there, stipple that. Okay, so once you've got your main highlight kind of stippled in and blended in, you can see now that it's nice and blended. You can't see those like dots where I had put my highlight before. Now I'm gonna go back in with that same, dense side of my blush and bronzer brush, and I'm just going to, in a circular motion, I'm just going to blend out my contour now. So when we're blending the contour, as I said before, you want to blend your cheek contour with a much lighter hand than you blend the rest of your face. So I'm blending in my contour at the top of my forehead, and I'm blending that into my hairline a bit so you can't see like a big color difference between like the shade of your scalp and the shade of your contour. So you're blending it upwards and inwards into your hairline just slightly. And then when you go to your cheek contour, the way I like to do it is I like to start by just stippling and then see what that does to my contour, because I like to maintain a lot of definition there without having like a straight harsh line. So I usually blend it just ever so slightly a little more along my cheek there, and then as I get up and as I come towards that definition there, I'm going to go a little bit lighter hand as I go up. So I'm going to just blend that in, blend it up. So with your contour also, you want to blend up. You never want to blend down because then you're going to give yourself the kind of illusion of like a sinking face. You want to blend that up. You're trying to lift your cheekbones, not, I don't know what the word is. So that's actually as much blending as I'm gonna do. You can see that I blended in a little bit more towards my cheek, but I kind of had a lighter hand as I went up towards my ear, and I kept that definition there. I blurred out that line a bit, but I kept that definition. So same thing on this side. I'm gonna blend out where my cheek is a little bit more, and as I come up, I'm going to just stipple that and then keep that definition. And blending up. So cream makeup is also very forgiving. So if you apply a little too much makeup and you have to kind of adjust that, we do have perfector sponges as well, and those are really good for picking up excess product. So you can go in there with a damp sponge and then just press that all over your face to kind of pick up any excess product. And like you saw me do before with my highlight shades, is if your contour is a bit heavy, you can go in, you can blend that out, and then you can just go in with your main highlight shade again and then just kind of clean that up a bit. There we go. So that's as much blending as I'm going to do for my cheek contour, and then I'm just going to go in, I'm going to squeeze this a little bit just so that I keep that definition along my nose and blend out my nose contour. So while you blend out your nose contour, you want to avoid bringing that blend up on top of that bridge of your nose, because you want to keep that brightness in the middle of your nose for the actual like narrowing effect for your nose. There we go. So that's your foundation. That's your highlight and your contour blended together, which makes your foundation. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you how I brighten it up a bit. So I'm just going to grab, where is it here? Not that one. I'm I'm going to grab a much lighter highlight shade than I just used. So for those of you who have your order coming, you've got these multiple highlight shades, you've got your color correction shade, you've got your main highlight shade, you probably have a brighter one too. That's going to be your brightening highlight, and I will show you where to place that. So I'm going to go in with this brush here. It's called the 30-second HAC brush. This is probably the brush that a lot of you have started with. Because it does both jobs. It's got one dense tapered side for application, and then it's got a bit more of a dense, fluffier side for blending. So this one's a really great starter brush. So I'm just gonna go in with that tapered dense side, and I'm gonna grab a highlight shade that's much lighter, and I'm just going to place it up there, kind of the middle of your forehead, and then up ever so slightly, corner of my eyes, and then just swipe it down. And then that'll give you a nice brightening effect. So now you have that brighter highlight just right in the middle of your face, because you want to brighten up the middle of your face. Now you can go in with that fluffy side, and you can just ever so slightly with a lighter hand blend that out as well. You want to use a lighter hand when you're blending out your brightening highlight, because you don't want it to blend too much into your contour and main highlight. You want to, you know, maintain that brightness, if that makes any sense. So I'm not swiping it like I did my main highlight. I'm just stippling this in. And then you can already see that it's much brighter in the middle of my face than it was before. There you go. So now you have that brightening effect just in the middle of your face. And then you're gonna grab your lip and cheek shade. So you probably have a lip and cheek shade. My favorite ones are these two here. So this one's Frenchy, and it's got more of a peach undertone to it. And then this one is called Nude, and it's got more of kind of a mauve tone to it. And I love them both. I find them both to be very kind of universal too. A lot of ladies look really good with both of these shades. So I'm just gonna go back in with my Buffy brush here. So my Buffy brush, like I used the larger end to apply my main highlight color, and now I'm gonna go in with the smaller side, and I'm going to use that to apply my lip and cheek shade. So I'm just gonna grab, with our lip and cheek shades, they are very pigmented, so a little bit is gonna go a long way. You only want to use a little bit. So I'm gonna grab some of the nude color. So for placement of this, I'm going to pretty much start on the apples of my cheeks, but I'm going to swipe it upwards, kind of following that contour. So I'm going to go there and swipe it upwards. And that's all I'm going to do there. Same thing on the other side. Swipe it up. So that's your lip and cheek. And then you can go back in with that dense side of your blush and bronzer brush. Or if you just have the 30-second HAC, this fluffier dense side will work great as well. And then you're just going to start stippling that in. So when you blend out your lip and cheek shade, you want to blend this one. I always blend this one down just ever so slightly so that I don't have an obvious line between my contour and my lip and cheek shade. I want them to just kind of blend together really nicely. Same thing on this side. So you can see I'm kind of blending it down ever so slightly. And then I'm just stippling the edges to kind of blur out that line. There we go. Hold on. There you go. There's your lip and cheek shade. So now you've got pretty much your full highlight and contour done. You've got your full face. For some people, you may have ordered an illuminator with it, and I will show you how to apply that as well. Our illuminators are actually amazing. I love them. We've got cream illuminators, and we've got powder ones. The powders are a little bit more glam than the cream illuminators. So I think I'm going to go in and I'm going to use a cream illuminator. I'm going to use this one here, and this one's called Angel. This one's really nice for us fair-skinned ladies because I find it just gives the illusion of like a really nice dewy finish. And I really like this one. So for my illuminator, I'm just going to use my finger and I'm just going to press that into the high points of my cheekbones. And I'm going to press it into just the center of my nose. And then I'm going to apply that just to your cupid's bow, top of your lip, center of your chin, and just the high points on your brow bone as well. Normally I wait to apply my illuminator underneath my eyebrows until my eyebrows have been completely finished, which they are not right now. But that's it. That's your full highlight and contour. That's your full face. So for those of you just starting, those of you who had just gotten your makeup in the mail and you want to kind of know where to put everything, just this is how you do it. So you go first with your contour, then you go in with your main highlight, you got your brightening shade, you've got your color correction that you're just dabbing on in, you know, wherever you need it. And then you finish it off with your illuminator and you're all done. That's it.
If all of the kings had their queens on the throne, we would pop champagne and raise a toast.